I've come up with an algorithm to work out what is the best E-mount lens, and today we're looking at the 35-150 f2.8 from Samyang. Coming in at 1,231 grams, it's heavy, and not to be ignored, it's huge. It has a front filter size of 82mm, which is not that common compared to what's on offer from Sony, a macro ratio of 1 to 5.7 at the wide end and 1 to 5.9 at the tele end, and a close focusing distance of 33 to 85 centimeters, which is actually pretty good, plus a variable aperture of f2 to 2.8, which I'm going to talk about later on. At the time of recording, this retails for about 2,300 New Zealand dollars or 1,400 US dollars, which is good. It does gain a few points for that. Covering 35 to 150 is a very impressive range, but it does not have any lens stabilization, thankfully, because it'd be huge. But I will point out it has 2 function buttons, a custom switch, a zoom lock, an AF/MF switch. Do note though that to customize any of these you will need to buy Samyang's dock at an extra cost, though I don't think any of these are worth factoring into the algorithm, but I did factor in it's got great image quality and build quality. There are no extra points for what I would call a uniqueness factor for its focal length. It makes up for this with its focal range and aperture, but the focal lengths it hits are easy to get covered elsewhere. But what about my thoughts on this lens? Grabbing a big handful of personal opinions, there are a few things to consider with any third-party lens. I've mentioned these before. The main two I feel are worth considering are no focus breathing compensation or active stabilization support if you plan to use this lens for video, and be aware it does extend a ton when changing its focal length. But I feel the biggest thing to get around here is it doesn't have a tripod mount. As this lens is big and heavy, finding a tripod collared support I would say is crucial. But luckily there are a bunch of these available. Just make sure you find one that attaches more around the middle of the lens, not at the rear where it attaches to the camera, as this can make rotating your camera to a vertical portrait position a real pain in the butt. Its variable aperture is a little bit of a pain, but if this lens was just a straight 2.8 the whole way through, we would be more than happy. So I suggest you treat it like that, and considering the f2 at the 35mm end a little secret weapon that you can tap into when needed. Overall, the Samyang 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8 gets a final score of 6.54 out of 10. It's big and it's heavy, but it is unique and awesome if you get the right tripod collar.